Hey and welcome to the Daily Arsenal News Show. Let's begin with our daily news. Ian Wright reacts to what Saka has told him after signing a new contract. Ian Wright has been speaking to Bukayo Saka after he signed his new Arsenal contract. In a segment for Arsenal's official club website, Wright was speaking to Saka about his plans and ambitions after he committed his long-term future to the Gunners. Saka may now be one of the highest paid players at Arsenal, but he doesn't have money on his mind. Indeed, Saka is still wholly focused on his football and he wants to become the best player he can and achieve as much as he can at Arsenal. Saka told Wright about this ambition, and the Gunners legend assured the winger that the Arsenal fan base will absolutely love to hear this from Saka. Wright and Saka spoke about his ambitions. Saka said, I think for me it's personal ambitions that's probably the core. How much I push myself and how much I demand from myself each game, week in, week out. Then, of course, I have all the right people around me in terms of family, and when I come to the training ground, my teammates, the coaching staff, I think I have everything I need to become the best player I can be. That's why I am happy to stay here and be here for the future because I really believe we can achieve big things. Wright reacted, honestly, the supporters will love to hear that. Arsenal know better than any other club that certain tiny players can tail off after getting a big contract. That's exactly how Mesut Ozil and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang's final years at Arsenal played out, but Saka won't be following that trend. Saka is such a focused young man, he wants to be the best he can be, and this sort of attitude is to be expected from him at this point. Saka is becoming a mentality monster at Arsenal, and he won't let a huge pay rise affect him doing what he does best. As Wright says, Arsenal fans will love hearing this. Manchester United to launch £55 million bid to sign Arsenal's Premier League target. Manchester United are reportedly about to make a big bid to sign Arsenal target Mason Mount from Chelsea this summer. The Blues midfielder is expected to be a wanted man this summer. He has been linked with the likes of Arsenal, Newcastle United, Liverpool, and even Bayern Munich over the last few weeks. With the season coming to a close, clubs are getting ready to make their transfer moves, and the Daily Mail claim that Manchester United want to beat Arsenal and the rest to Mount's signature. Mason Mount is one of the most talented English midfielders out there. The unbelievable Englishman, still only 24, has proven his class in the Premier League for a few years now, and with just 1 year left on his contract, he is now a very attractive option for top clubs. Arsenal and Liverpool have been the sides rumoured to have the most interest in Mount, but if the report is to be believed, Manchester United are set to be the ones to make the first move. It has been claimed that the Red Devils are set to launch a £55 million bid to sign Mount this summer. The Blues star is apparently Erik ten Hag's primary target, and the United boss wants to wrap this deal up very quickly. Chelsea's valuation, however, reportedly stands at a whopping £85 million. It's no secret that Arsenal's priority this summer is a new midfielder, and Declan Rice is their top target. However, they need another player in the middle of the park as well. The Gunners are about to lose Granit Xhaka to Bayer Leverkusen in the coming weeks, and that leaves a big hole in the middle of Arteta's midfield. Mount, who has been linked with a move to the Emirates, would be an excellent option, and he could really explode under Arteta at the Emirates. However, if the Gunners really want him, they will have to outbid Manchester United in the coming weeks. David Seaman suggests he'd love Arsenal to sign Ruben Neves. David Seaman has suggested that he would be very happy if Arsenal ended up signing Ruben Neves this summer, claiming that the Wolves star is a quality player. Seaman was speaking on his Seaman Says podcast as Arsenal gear up to bolster their midfield ranks at the end of the campaign, and one of the players on the club's radar is Ruben Neves. The Daily Mail has reported this week that the Wolves captain is seen as an alternative at Arsenal to Declan Rice. Neves has long been linked with the Molineux exit, and with the Times reporting that Wolves need to bring money in this summer, and the Portuguese is seen as one of the most sellable assets in the current squad. Neves is wanted by Barcelona, so there does appear to be a decent chance, all things considered, of Arsenal not winning the race for the 26-year-old. But Seaman believes that he is definitely the kind of player Arsenal should be looking to sign. He said, I think he is a bit better than backup plans. If I'm honest, Neves is a good player. I would take him as well because he is a quality player. There is no doubt about that. The Daily Mail's report noted that Wolves want around £45 million for Neves, so he would be a lot cheaper than a lot of the other players who have been linked with Arsenal ahead of the summer. And he is someone who has a lot of experience in the Premier League, so he would not need a long time to adjust if he made the move to the Emirate. Perhaps he would be less exciting than some of the other names who have been in the mix, but Arsenal have seen what can happen when their squad gets stretched this season, and they will also have the Champions League to contend with next year. So signing Neves could prove to be a really shrewd piece of business. Certainly, Seaman would be pleased if the Gunners made a move. Manchester United and Arsenal keen on a 24-year-old La Liga defender. Barcelona defender Jules Koundé has been linked to the move away from the club at the end of the season. The 24-year-old Frenchman could be on his way out of the Spanish club this summer as he is not comfortable playing as a right back for them. A report from Vigaches claims that Premier League clubs Manchester United and Arsenal are keen on securing his services this summer. Koundé wants to play in his natural position as the central defender, and a move to Manchester United or Arsenal could provide him with the platform to do so. The 24-year-old was highly rated around Europe when he joined Barcelona, and he has the attribute to develop into a world-class defender. Manchester United could certainly use someone like him, especially if players like Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof decide to leave the club in the summer. The two players have struggled for game time at Old Trafford, and they might need to leave in order to play regularly. Koundé could form a quality partnership in a back three with Rafael Varane and Lisandro Martinez. Meanwhile, Arsenal have struggled in the absence of William Saliba in recent weeks, and the Gunners will have to add more depth and quality to their back line as well. Koundé would be an excellent acquisition for Mikel Arteta. Arsenal do want to sign an incredible £60 million player, but they are not his first choice. Arsenal transfer target Joao Cancelo would ideally like to sign for Bayern Munich this summer, with the defender thought to have little chance of returning to the fold at Manchester City. That's according to journalist Bennett Jacobs, who was writing in his Scout Offside column this week, in which he outlined the problems Arsenal will face trying to sign the Portuguese. It took many by surprise when Manchester City gave Joao Cancelo the green light to leave in the January transfer window. He had previously established himself as one of the best fullbacks in the world, almost redefining the role in recent years. However, he was unhappy with his game time at the Etihad Stadium, and with that, he joined Bayern for the rest of the season. As Jacobs notes, the Bavarian Giants have the option to sign Cancelo permanently for £61 million. However, he claimed that Thomas Tuchel's side have little intention of triggering that clause. He also suggested that Arsenal have a genuine interest in landing the incredible Cancelo. However, they do face an uphill battle with Manchester City reluctant to let him head to the Emirates and Cancelo hoping to move elsewhere. He said, I don't see a way back at Manchester City, at least not in the long term, especially with Cancelo wanting to start games. He ideally wants to stay at Bayern, but Thomas Tuchel may have other ideas, which is what puts Cancelo in quite a tricky position. The links with Arsenal are genuine, and there is no doubt Edu and Mikel Arteta will look for defensive reinforcement, but it will be a complicated transfer to pull off. Manchester City won't be as forthcoming selling to Arsenal, given how close they ran the recently crowned champions this season. The transfers of Gabriel Jesus and Zinchenko show the clubs can do business, but the dynamic between them is a little different now heading into the next season. Obviously, Bayern not wanting to trigger the option is encouraging news for Arsenal, and there have been surprise reports from football transfers claiming that Arsenal and Manchester City are in talks over a swap involving Cancelo and Kieran Tierney. Arsenal will have to pay outstanding player more than Bukayo Saka to sign him. Poundit and Goldstein and Darren Bent have argued about whether Arsenal will need to match Bukayo Saka's wages to sign Declan Rice this summer. Speaking on TalkSport, the pair disagreed on how much the West Ham United captain might cost if they bring him in. Declan Rice appears to be Mikel Arteta's top target this summer. Arsenal have been linked with the England international for some time as he looks set to move on. Rice still has one huge game to prepare for as West Ham face Fiorentina in the Europa Conference League final. It would be the perfect way for him to end his time with the club if he could lift a European trophy. Arsenal have just confirmed that Bukayo Saka has signed a new contract on huge wages, which could affect what they offer Rice later in the summer. Goldstein and Bent had very differing opinions on whether the 24-year-old deserved to be on the same money as Saka. It's given Rice's agent a figure to negotiate with if Arsenal have a bid accepted for the midfielder. Darren Bent and Andy Goldstein have very different views on whether Rice is worth the same to Arsenal as Saka. Bent said, Declan will come and get £200,000 a week, which is a lot, but he can't be coming and demanding Saka's wages. Goldstein replied, he is probably more established than Saka, not at Arsenal, but as a player. Declan Rice is playing with the players, no disrespect, that he is much better than, and he's been outstanding. I think he is West Ham's player and fans player of the year. He isn't just led his team to a European final. All Saka's done is watch his side fall off a cliff. Ben added, I get that, but there is a difference between being the main man at a club that's near the bottom, no disrespect to West Ham, or a club that's near the top. How many times have we seen players come from lesser clubs who are their main man and get that opportunity and struggle? Goldstein didn't agree and concluded, if you were going to ask the majority of impartial England football fans who is more important to England, Declan Rice or Bukayo Saka, it would be split. I am telling you now, if you want to sign Declan Rice, you are not getting him for £200,000 a week. What Patrick Vieira has said about Ilkay Gundogan amid Arsenal links. Arsenal have been linked with Manchester City's Ilkay Gundogan in recent months. The Gunners pushed the Citizens all the way in the Premier League title race and will now look to kick on. Midfield is one area Arsenal could do with bolstering, particularly now Granit Xhaka is reportedly leaving. ESPN recently reported that the Gunners could swoop for Gundogan if he doesn't pen fresh City terms. Apparently, Pep Guardiola's side are only offering him a one-year deal, with Arsenal keeping tabs on the situation. If the Gunners do sign Gundogan, they'd be landing a player lauded by Highbury legend Patrick Vieira. Earlier this month, City ran out 3-0 winners at Everton, with Gundogan netting a brace for the champions-elect. Vieira told Sky Sport then, he is really a top player and he showed his talent on the free kick, the technical ability to put the ball where he wants to. He is really smart with the timing of his run to get into the box. He is one of the best in the league at that. Gundogan is one of the best midfielders in the Premier League and would have so much to offer Arsenal, and with his reported £165,000 a week contract coming to an end, City won't have any say regarding his next employers if he doesn't pen fresh terms. City's decision to sell Gabriel Jesus and Zinchenko to Arsenal nearly backfired on them. The deal helped turn the Gunners, who for several years weren't even getting in the top four, into title challengers. Could Gundogan now look to join two of his former teammates in a bid to get them over the line next season? That said, you have to wonder whether a 3-year deal, what he reportedly wants, could be a gamble. Arsenal have suffered in the past by signing veterans from other top clubs on big contract that didn't work out. At the same time, the likes of Barcelona are reportedly circling around the 32-year-old as well. Gundogan will be spoiled for choice as to where he chooses to go next. Who knows? There may even be a bidding war for personal terms. I will be uploading daily Arsenal news, so keep your eyes on the channel and don't forget to like and subscribe. I appreciate your support. Peace out.